Hey Meno Warriors, today we're going to be talking about dry January or dry-ish January, or in fact maybe dry January and February beyond. No judgment at all. Menopause and alcohol is quite a big topic. If you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you know I love my red wine, you know I love my whiskies, I can even blind taste the better whiskies and with a huge amount of success. Not to brag, but let's just put this into context. I enjoy my wine and whiskey, but there are certain advantages if you're able to go dry or you want to simply reduce the amount of alcohol that you're drinking. What spurred me on to share this episode today was the fact that it's dry January, but also a lady recently purchased one of my hypnosis downloads, which is designed to help you reduce the amount of alcohol that you drink, because a lot of us, we don't want to cut it out completely. I really enjoy the social occasion of going to the pub or a restaurant and enjoying a really lovely bottle of wine or a glass of wine with whatever I'm eating. For me, it gives me a huge amount of pleasure. I don't feel like I abuse alcohol. I rarely drink more than 2 glasses. I hate that feeling of feeling, I've had a little bit too much to drink, but it does have an impact on you through menopause. So today we're going to break that down. I'm going to sort of explain a little bit about what alcohol does to the body without it a load of scaremongering. I promise you, this is, if you like a drink and you want to reduce the amount of alcohol that you do drink, this video is for you. So firstly, let's get the sciencey bit out of the way. The body considers alcohol as a toxin. When it is metabolizing alcohol, so if you've had something to drink that contains alcohol, the liver will metabolize that first at the exclusion of metabolizing food and nutrients that you may have consumed. Alcohol, give or take, depending on what you drink, contains about 7 calories per gram, which is relatively high. Fat is around about 9 calories per gram, but it's also empty calories. So at least with fat, it fills you up. It's nutritionally dense. It doesn't affect your blood sugars, whereas alcohol, it does impact very negatively your blood sugars. It is nutritionally deficient, as well as having a negative impact on how your body responds to it. During menopause, while insulin sensitivity does change, so we become less insulin sensitive, which means that our blood sugars don't react quite as well as they used to do, which means that we get more belly fat tending to build up. You might have more overall weight gain too. It's really common once you've gone through perimenopause and beyond. There are ways to combat that, definitely. If strength training is something that you're doing regularly, that will help you burn fat more effectively. But we want to really focus on reducing stressors through midlife and beyond, and also maintaining a way of eating and drinking that does not have a negative impact too much on our blood sugars. So fat doesn't affect your blood sugars at all. Carbs tends to more, depending on the type of carbs that you're eating. Starchy carbs, not to such a degree as rubbish carbs like a bagel or a donut or something along those lines. And then protein has, it does affect your blood sugars a little bit, but not quite as much as carbs, and just a little bit more than fat. It's important that you understand how blood sugars have a negative impact on your menopausal symptoms. You might find that you're getting more hot flushes as a result of having imbalanced blood sugars. It could be that you're feeling more antsy, you're getting more anxious, your sleep is being negatively impacted, as well as that weight gain. So when we can focus very much on stress reduction and keeping a healthy balance of our blood sugars, you're much further down the path to managing your menopause symptoms better than other people that do not. And a lot of people, it's not obvious. You don't think, oh, menopause, right, I really need to look after my blood sugar levels. You do. It's one of the key factors, as well as stress management, both cortisol and how we respond to insulin, our insulin sensitivity, how we respond to sugars that we eat in our food, healthy sugars and not so healthy sugars, have a massive impact on how you experience your symptoms of the menopause. And of course, just tying this back to alcohol, alcohol is empty calories, no nutrition. Yes, you might enjoy it, and you will have the camp that says, well, particularly red wine, it's got resveratrol in it, which is good. It's an antioxidant, but it's not good enough to outweigh the negative impact of drinking alcohol in any case. So when we're looking at alcohol, we're looking partly at a reliance on it physically, but more it's about habit and recognizing that we're looking to change our state. So for me, I know why I do it in the afternoon. It denotes the end of the working day for me, and it makes the evening, in my mind, more fun and more relaxing. And fun, not because I'm getting tipsy and I'm like dancing and laughing and giggling and falling on the floor, da da da. It is because it's a little bit of a boost to me psychologically. I love the flavor of it. I always buy nice wine. And for me, it's a real pleasure principle. But if you're anything like my age, I'm 55, born in 1970, we grew up with television adverts where you'd see generally the man in those days coming home, taking off his jacket. The scenery is quite sort of voluptuous and sensual. It's dark colours and maybe a little bit of sort of amber colouring or sun-kissedness in it. And he'd pour his, well, for me, he'd pour his whiskey into his glass. He might have ice in it, so you hear the ice cubes around the glass, and you're thinking, oh, yes, that is the epitome of success. That is sheer sophistication and elegance. But those marketing messages, I mean, you don't see them so often these days on television, but those marketing messages, they really stick with you. In my mind, I see that image. In my mind, it still cultivates that sense of this is what you do. This is what means being successful and, you know, having a good job and just feeling happy and relaxed and confident in your life. So the reason I say that is because I honestly want you to understand how it has influenced me. I'm a very healthy person. I do my strength training. I really understand how our gut health, our brain health, everything is impacted by what we consume, however we're consuming it. But because I also do really enjoy, I love really nice wines and I love really nice whiskies and some ciders and some beers. So this is not about pointing the finger. We have become so polarized politically, economically. I mean, when you just look at the news these days, it's like this camp and then there's barbed wire against that camp of beliefs and then there's this camp and don't you dare walk near it or say anything that might vaguely offend somebody. Let's just live and be as harmonious as we can be and understand that every choice that we make does have an impact, and that might be a positive impact or a negative impact. So if you're looking to reduce your alcohol, it will definitely have, or cut out alcohol, it will definitely have a positive impact on your menopause symptoms, the quality of your sleep, and also how proud you feel of yourself. I know when I go teetotal, I do it sometimes, I actually feel amazing. I feel like I'm a little bit more switched on. My sleep does improve. It would sleep. My sleep is mainly affected by my pets. I have cats and they're so annoying, but they're old and I love them. And I will not be renewing them anytime soon once they've gone. Because as much as I love them, they're such a pain in the early hours and they wake me up so much. So cats or red wine, I'd definitely choose the red wine at this stage of life. But you have to understand that whatever choices you make, they do have that payoff or the benefit. A lot of people will drink alcohol because they think it relaxes them. Maybe half a glass or one glass does. But again, you're sort of looking at the relaxation benefits drop off pretty fast. And you might feel more relaxed after you've had your glass of wine or beer or whatever it might be. But later on, through the course of the night, you're likely to find that your sleep is interrupted. Your liver is having to do more work than it would normally otherwise have to do. That's often one of the reasons why you might be waking up at a sort of 1:30, 2:30-ish in the morning. You might be having those hot sweats. You might be feeling anxious. That can be an overactive liver. So by reducing your alcohol or cutting it out, that's going to significantly improve that. You'll find hot flushes are highly likely to reduce significantly, particularly if you can reduce your sugars. When people tend to stop drinking or reduce alcohol, you beware that you might have more sugar cravings. Quite often, it's not necessarily a craving for the alcohol, it's the craving for the sugar it contains. Your body doesn't really care whether it's a lovely glass of wine or a rattly glass of whiskey or whatever it might be. Your body just thinks, oh, I like that, I like how that makes me feel. It's very much working upon the dopamine, the reward system of our bodies. And that is as behavioral, it's more behavioral than it is physical. So if you go into detox for alcoholism, you're likely to have a detox, a very structured detox plan that lasts between 5 and 7 days. That's because the physical addiction, just the physical addiction, lasts about 5 to 7 days. It's quite surprising how quickly the physical addiction can be got out of your body. Yes, you will go through withdrawal symptoms when it's done in a clinical setting. Alcoholics or people with an alcohol sensitivity will be given different medications in order to help wean them off during that week of detox. And then after that, that's when the behavioural stuff really needs to kick in. So that's when, ideally, if you have a loved one or you yourself struggle with heavy drinking, if you go in for detox, if you're able to, make sure that you get the rehabilitation after it as well for 2 to 3 months, because that's when you will really do the work. That's when normal life kicks in, and you'll learn new skills. The rehabilitation centres are amazing, but that is largely going to help you succeed by staying off the alcohol if you do have an addiction to alcohol. You might also be one of those people, I'm as guilty as well. I get to the end of the day, and if I'm really, really busy, I tend to just not eat enough. When I'm really doing well, I'm eating loads during the day. And if you're looking to reduce your alcohol, loads of healthy stuff, if you're looking to reduce or cut out alcohol, make sure that you have a good idea of what you need to be eating throughout the course of the day, protein led. So make sure every meal that you eat and snack that you eat has some form of protein in it. Doesn't matter whether it's animal or plant-based, maybe combine both if you're omnivorous. And also make sure you're eating plenty of fibre, so lots of vegetables. Ideally vegetables, they're great for your gut health, which is also going to help further support you as you wean off alcohol or reduce alcohol. Gut health is so key. Gut health is one of the most important things that you could ever focus on for your longevity. Alcohol does have a negative impact on your gut microbiome, as do sugars and artificial sweeteners. So going alcohol free, if you're then choosing another type of drink to replace your alcoholic drink, so a lot of non-alcoholic wines, non-alcoholic beers, I mean, that industry is booming. It's huge. The growth in non-alcoholic drink equivalents is just accelerating in growth. And I think that's fantastic. So it goes to show that more and more people are realizing that alcohol might not be the answer that they're looking for. But non-alcoholic does not necessarily mean healthy. So be mindful that it doesn't have loads of sugars in it and or artificial sweeteners. Things like your general Cokes, your lemonades, your even like slimline tonic water. A lot of them will have quite a lot of sugar in, and otherwise they'll have artificial sweeteners in. Sugars in and of themselves, if they've got a lot, you don't want it. If you're going to cut out alcohol or reduce alcohol, choose a healthy drink to replace it. When I go teetotal, I have sparkling water and I have rose water essence in it. Rose water essence isn't everybody's cup of tea. I don't really have a sweet tooth. And for me, rose water essence is quite a sort of, I'd say it's almost like not a complicated flavour, but it's quite a complex flavour. And you only need a tiny, tiny drop. In fact, in the description box below, there'll be a link there for 10 free cleansing, water-based recipes that you can follow or try out. It's a lovely, lovely guide. It's one I created a few years back, and you can download that. Don't have to give your email and hopefully enjoy that. But when you're going to go teetotal or reduce your alcohol, make sure that you have a drink that is your go-to. So you're not thinking, oh, right, I'm not going to have my beer tonight. Oh, God, what am I going to drink? Don't know what to drink. You need a strategy in place. You need to plan so that when you commit to doing it, and don't wait for Monday. If you feel like doing it on a Wednesday, then start on the Wednesday. Never feel like you have to wait for Monday for it to kick in. There are some times where you just think, I think I might start today. Do it. But just have that plan and that strategy in place so that you have that drink to fill the gap when you would normally habitually be turning for the beer, the wine, the cider, whatever it might be. I just want to dive into habits in more detail because that is the behavioural aspect of giving up drink. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a drinker, or do you see yourself as somebody struggling to give up or reduce alcohol? Because that will not help you. If you can see yourself not even as a non-drinker, because you already, it's like, don't think about the blue elephant. You already think about the blue elephant. Non-drinking in and of itself is, okay, I'm thinking about not drinking, which in parentheses, in brackets, I know I love or I really enjoy, and it's going to be a struggle not to. So instead of doing that, see yourself as somebody who is absolutely prioritizing her health and wellness. I see myself as somebody who supports my sleep and energy. I see myself as somebody who is lean, strong, agile, and full of energy. So instead of even thinking around something relating to alcohol or no alcohol, or drinking or no drinking, entirely change how you are perceiving yourself. Because I think one of the things that most people do struggle with is they know that there comes that time of the day and it's just, oh my God, I'm going to miss it. You feel the resistance building up already, and it's just like, it becomes a battle of willpower. You need that strategy that you've chosen the drink that you're going to drink instead of, so that when that time of your day arrives, you go into your kitchen or wherever you prepare your drink, you don't even allow yourself, you might have to try and hum or sing while you're pouring your non-alcoholic drink, but you don't even allow yourself to think, oh, I'm not drinking wine tonight. And I would also encourage you to get rid of all alcohol in your house so that you're not tempted with anything. It does make it easier. If it's not there, you can't drink it. So if you're having a weaker moment, you can't reach for the bottle. Once you've committed to it, really support your ability to see it through. You'll probably find the first couple of weeks are going to be much more challenging than the weeks thereafter. Once you get into the habit of drinking the other drink, the healthier drink, eventually you'll stop even having to try not to think about the fact that you're not going to be drinking alcohol. And when you can focus on the benefits that you're gaining. So, as soon as you get out of your detox week, and detox will happen whether you're a regular drinker or whether you have more of an alcoholic problem. If you drink regularly like I do, when I go teetotal, I probably day 3 and day 4, I will have a slight headache. And it normally makes my neck ache a bit as well. And I know that's just my body adjusting to not having that regular 1 or 2 glasses of wine that I have nearly every evening. So be mindful of that. You might have restless sleep for a few nights too. And then all of a sudden you'll think, God, I slept so well last night. So it does take a few days of a bit of disheveledness before you start to notice the benefits. But as soon as you start to notice the benefits, and you can be proud of yourself on day 1. If you wake up the next day and you manage to not drink the alcohol, you can wake up and be so proud of yourself. So you want to focus on the benefits and really remind yourself of them, of not drinking alcohol. And it's always easier in the morning to be very positive about not drinking alcohol. And as the day progresses, you're getting closer to that zone, that time zone when you may then pour your drink. Make sure you have something else to do. So have your non-alcohol alternative ready, but it might be that you have to take yourself out for a quick walk. Maybe then you do your exercise then instead. Maybe you journal. Maybe you take up a new hobby, learn to play a musical instrument, learn a new language, start knitting or crocheting or anything that can distract you. Because when you're busy with other stuff, you're not going to really think about it much. And you'll probably find, if you're like me and you really enjoy your regular drink, that on days when, if I'm busy outside and I'm cutting wood or whatever it might be, I will work until it gets pitch black. So that might be that I'm working till 9 or 10 o'clock. Well, I'm definitely not going to have a glass of wine when I come in then. So it is one of those things that you're probably able to manage it more than you think you can. But just make sure that you are keeping yourself busy and that you have a strategy in place for when you decide to reduce it or go teetotal. Another thing I would suggest to you is to listen to podcasts of people that promote healthy living, and ideally podcasts that talk about the benefits of not drinking alcohol, or read books or journals or blog posts about it, because that is further going to support you. And I I love hypnotherapy. I've been a psychotherapist for 20 plus years, and hypnotherapy is one of the most powerful tools that I use with people for all sorts of different issues. And when you're listening, there's a thing known as waking hypnosis. And when you're listening to information that supports where you want to go, it has this sort of way of just really, with no resistance at all, just seeping into your psyche, and it will help bolster your goals of going teetotal or reducing your alcohol. I'll drop a link to the hypnosis download in the description box as well, just in case you're wanting to get that as a little bit of extra support. It does work incredibly well. The first time I ever used it on anyone, my client arrived drunk, and he drank a lot. I mean, a lot, regularly, and at all sorts of different times of the day. It didn't have to be in the evening. It's just like any excuse. And it worked for him, and he was able to cut out alcohol completely. So it's a very powerful screed. And if you're looking to reduce your alcohol but not cut it out completely, that will really support you to do that. You'll also find that once you've started to reduce your alcohol, you might think, oh, I'm just going to get rid of it. And again, you might want to build up in small increments, like reducing it and then thinking, I can get rid of it, rather than just completely deciding to go teetotal and not have access to any alcohol at all. One thing I would suggest also that you do is visualization. So if you're struggling to go teetotal, reduce your alcohol, and this is part of my hypnosis screed as well. It's part of neuro-linguistic programming. You might have heard of it before, but essentially, when you are thinking of your alcoholic drink, if you catch yourself sort of ruminating about it or thinking about it, see your alcoholic drink as far away, and it's in a dusty corner, and it's like dank, it's moldy, it's dusty, it's dark coloured, doesn't look very nice, and it's far away from you. And then with your next thought, visualize your healthy drink up close and bright. Whenever I'm doing this, I'll see, my glass of wine, or maybe I'll imagine there's a film, a layer of something messy on top of it, and the glass is dirty and it's dusty and it's sort of like tucked away in this corner far away. And then my glass of sparkling water with my rosewater essence. Wow, I mean, it's close. I see it close. I see it bright up. I see the condensation of the water on the outside of the glass. The glass is clean, it's bright. I see the little bubbles going up because I love sparkling water. And the rosewater essence bottle itself, it's a little bit pink label, it's quite sweet. And if you download the healthy recipes that I share with you, the pictures in there are beautiful. And so you want something like that to be up close to you in your mind's eye. So you're visualizing, and I even hear the bubbles. I can hear it, and the tinkle of them going up the glass. And that to me is just like, wow, gosh, yeah, that's what I want to drink. I don't want that dusty there in the corner that's not going to be doing me any good. I want this thing that's up close and clean, and it just makes me feel so vibrant. So practice that too. If you're, different methods work for different people. That is a really powerful method that you might find works really well for you, particularly if you find yourself thinking about, you're drifting off. You think, oh, that glass of wine or my beer or my cider and whatever it might be. As soon as that comes into, you realize that you're thinking of it as your drink that you're going to have that day, put it in that corner. Just see it in your mind's eye. Go straight into that dusty corner. And maybe put some flies around it, or maggots, or just something unpleasant. And then bring your non-alcoholic drink so close up and so vibrant and clean, and see yourself as somebody who is prioritizing her menopause, prioritizing her sleep, prioritizing her healthy weight management, her gut health, and her energy levels, and her overall well-being. And you will find, by taking a multi-pronged approach to either reducing your alcohol or cutting it out for good, it'll be a much, much easier task, and actually an enjoyable task for you to do. Because even if you're getting like the headaches after sort of day 3 or day 4, that's often a release of the sugar as well. But while you might feel a bit grouchy or groggy on those days, you can still see that as a plus. It's just like, my God, my body's finally getting rid of this stuff that's not serving me. So if you want support for your dry January, or just, whenever you decide to do it, you want to reduce your alcohol or cut it out completely, you can either download that hypnosis download. That does have a link to my website. Just as a caveat, my website needs a bit of updating. Everything works, it's just a bit old-fashioned. It's one of those things on my to-do list, so please don't look at it and think, oh God, that's a bit outdated. And also make good use of the water recipes. They are delicious, they look amazing. Just having that guide, if you're getting to the stage where you're just thinking, oh, I really want my beer or my cider or my wine or whatever it might be, your gin and tonic, have a look through that water recipes guide, because some of the images in there are just so beautiful, and it will, just looking at them, you think, oh, it just makes you feel healthy just by looking at them. And visualizing is such a powerful part of helping you achieve your goals. So I'd love to know, are you doing dry January? And if you are you going to continue beyond it? And if you've not started dry January yet, just drop it in the comments. I'd love to know, are you going to try at some point, give it a shot to reduce your alcohol? Is it something that's on your radar? I hope this has been helpful to you. There are so many different ways of approaching reducing alcohol or cutting it out completely. Just know that it does have a negative impact on your menopause symptoms and possible weight gain. If you suddenly stop drinking alcohol, or if you cut out your alcohol, so long as you don't replace that with eating more sugary stuff, you'll probably lose a few pounds on the scale. You're likely to have more energy, and you're likely to sleep better, and your menopausal symptoms will reduce and significantly improve. If you cut out alcohol, but then you replace it with stuff that's, full of sugar, or you start eating more sugary stuff because you're getting those sugar cravings, be really careful that you don't end up putting on more weight than you would have just maintained by drinking whatever you drink right now. There are always things to consider. It's not as simple as just stopping drinking. It's what you replace it with, and also adopting other healthy behaviours that will support you while you reduce or cut out your alcohol. So if you're not strength training already, I suggest start. Even if you just start small, just 15 minutes a day. On the days when I strength train, I have so much more resolve to maintain healthy behaviours than on the days when I don't. I strength train most days, and probably one of the reasons I do that is because I know it helps me make healthier decisions throughout the course of the day. And yes, you're then going to say, but you drink wine at the end of the day. I do. The rest of what I eat and drink is super healthy. I eat and drink a range of fermented foods. I really prioritize my gut health, except for the wine. And I eat a lot of vegetables, and I lead with protein. I don't eat sugary foods. I don't eat ultra processed foods. I don't eat cakes, croissants, and anything like that. So the rest of my lifestyle is incredibly healthy. In fact, wine really is my only vice. So I don't want my halo to shine too brightly. Just as a quick caveat too, should have mentioned it earlier. Kombucha is a fermented drink. I make lots of kombucha at home. The way I brew mine means that it does have a slightly higher alcohol level and a much lower sugar level by the time it's fermented. If you make your own kombucha, that can be a really healthy, natural alternative to an alcoholic drink. If you're sensitive to alcohol, so if you've had treatment for alcohol addiction, do not drink kombucha, because it might just trigger those alcoholic tendencies again. But if you do not have an alcohol addiction, kombucha is a really nice, safe, healthy drink to replace your wine or your beer or your cider with. So I hope that's been helpful. I will look forward to catching you next week. Let me know how you're getting on, particularly if you are doing dry January and you're thinking about continuing it. Well done you if you are. And I thank you so much for your company, and talk to you soon.